Welcome to the magical land of no fucks given. I wonder, will anyone see that I am broadcasting? Will anyone come and witness the bitch fest? I don't know. Oh, look, there's somebody here. They've liked the video, but it still says that there's nobody watching. Oh, there's somebody. What's up, Mr. Conway? How you doing, sir? I am pining over the days when I was able and allowed to work. We have gone the fuck broke. We've gone so broke, how broke are you? We so broke we don't ask the weed dealer for donations, we broke, How broke are we? We so broke I had to use 2 pieces of weed eater string that we had cut for cat toys and put them back in the damn weed eater so I could weed eat. You know, I really want to just stop being me. Doesn't seem like a plausible thing to do. Like, what do? Do I make the choice to just stop letting anybody know that I'm crazy? Do I convince myself that I was wrong? How? How? Please, somebody tell me. How, after all of this, after being proven right, time and time again, being proven right about more things than I even expected to fucking be. Okay? Like, I really thought I'd have screwed up more than this. Sorry, I just realized you're probably getting 4K view of my boogers. And, yeah, this camera's really, like, scary good quality, huh? This is the backwards facing camera. This is supposed to be, like, lower resolution, right? Holy shit. I fucking really get a good view of the last ship supper. Look, there's Jesus. There's John's robe and there's Mary's robe. Why do the sails match the colors of the robes? That's all I'm saying. It looks like they do. It might not be, but it's like a similar pattern, that's for sure. Maybe not the same sequentially, but quantitatively. Like the same number of shade, and the same shade, and the same number of each. The same shades being used. So every week that goes by, there's just more and more just shit that the world in general I mean, most people, not just like Republicans or Democrats or one side or the other, that most people get completely wrong on a regular basis. Um, and also, just an unforgivable, lack of context when comprehending very contextually sensitive international diplomatic arrangements, you know? Like, North and South Korea, for instance. The current president of South Korea might be trustworthy. But then again, he might not. Everybody's going to be celebrating a unification, what you don't realize is that probably already on North Korean state media, this is being portrayed as a conquest by the North. Peace is one thing, but really, reunification? Those have become two completely different cultures, two completely different ways of life. And they talk about reunification as if it's been the plan all along. Well, for a very long time, there has been a communist-funded reunification party in South Korea. And it's not the only communist-funded party in South Korea. Just, there's many communist-funded parties here that don't say they're communist. They don't have any communists. In fact, a lot of them are older veteran-oriented parties. They're targeted specifically to older veterans in their given country. And they tell them everything they want to hear so that they can manipulate them in the important little nudging ways. Now, I do not have concrete information about the particular party that elected. Here in America, we get those things so confusing. Arrested, elected, they kind of just belong together now. Hey, he stole the election. Fucking arrest him. Why isn't anybody arresting him? Donald Trump is a people trafficking, money laundering, racketeering Russian agent. Okay? People trafficking, money laundering. Racketeering. Will be a charge that comes up. In fact, every time new information is revealed, it's possible that I'm just seeing what I want to see, my foregone conclusion or whatever. Maybe I'm being like one of my internet trolls on the Lost Begotten channel, where they just want to see something, and they can only see the evidence that points to their conclusion. Maybe I'm suffering from that sort of weakened mental state. Maybe. One must consider these things to avoid such weakness. But it seems to me that the hacking and releasing of DNC emails along with many of the things that only I actually reported, well, there was a little bit, there was actually a report verifying, at least to a certain extent, my claims regarding this matter, on Rachel Maddow like a year ago in August, I think August 2017, talking about how basically Russian troll factories weren't just spreading emails, they were harassing and damn near intimidating Americans. You had online voter intimidation, basically, being perpetrated by foreigners in coordination with the Trump campaign. In not just like general idea coordination, not just targeting coordination. I'm talking daily talking points exchanges were happening. I observed this in real time for the past several years. And it wasn't just about Trump campaign people specifically either. It wasn't limited to that. It was this online, what I've called a shilliverse, that has not only installed fake actors as conspiracy theorists that basically accuse, parents who've lost their children of being actors. You know who I'm talking about. But they've also managed to infiltrate Google. Okay? Google, the corporation, YouTube, its subsidiary, have made a coordinated effort to suppress anyone who debunks conspiracy theorists, to suppress anyone to try to give counter propaganda. I mean, it's fair to call me a counter propagandist, okay? And it was because of that, not for any other reason, mind you, okay? Because of that YouTube decided to suppress the Lost Begotten channel. And that's why I'm here talking about things that they don't like me to talk about. And frankly, the average viewership of anyone streaming at any given time on about any subject should be 12 to 34 people. Okay? It doesn't matter if I'm just like sitting here making Muppets fuck, okay? 12 to 34 people watching out of the 600 or so million people on YouTube right now. People are just likely to browse many things, okay? And based on their viewing habits, based on their interests, one would think that, a combination of environmental resurrection planning, basically, some video games that I know people like to think about and talk about in deep ways, and a live streaming online forum available to do so. And while Flat Earth was a big thing, It was an easy way for just about anyone to just come on here and get a whole bunch of views. But people who were interested in that apparently, according to what YouTube assumes that they could one day convince a judge or jury of. That people who are interested in flat Earth are narrow-minded and only interested in one political perspective. It's funny. Because 3-4 years ago, every opinion I read from every person vlogging about whether or not the Earth was round or flat took exception and even insult to the idea that they should be politically categorized like some mundane fool. And I had, in perfect harmony with truth, plotted myself the perfect strategy for outreach that should have worked, considering my IT experience, considering I know how to use keywords, okay? But as I attempted to gain viewership by different means, YouTube, for some reason, among all of the other conspiracy-oriented, all of the other basically fucking crazy people flapping their gums on here, getting 10,000 views in a day, they chose me to coincidentally edit their entire platform policies each time I tried to do something to promote my channel. Starting with the removal of the pay-to-promote videos. That's only available for certain channels now. Yeah, they just choose who gets to do that now. Did you know that? Does that seem like a fair business practice to you? And let's see here. We tried to do the donate button. They removed the donate button 3 days fucking later. And when it finally did come out that they had been, you know, hacked by Russia, their response wasn't to reach out to the people who were hacked by Russia and collect information about what had happened to them or anything like that. Their response was to fake the adpocalypse and suddenly act like it was a new thing that advertisers were complaining about people like Alex Jones. Notice how when this sudden new wave of congeniality overcame them, they made no mention of the Russians, who we know, just because of what we know about Facebook, we know the Russians were buying ads. We know the Russians were buying influence via Google ads. And for some reason, it seems like Google had it in for Obama, to such an extent that he gave up on Google. You can still go look at his Google Plus profile and see what happened there. But it was a year and a half before he left office. He gave up on Google Plus. And you can see the same timing that the channel suppression here began, Barack Obama himself was suppressed by Google. How do I see that? How do I know that? Well, it's just a matter of the numbers of views and likes on his posts. It's Barack fucking Obama. Okay, it's not some crazy guy who thinks he's Jesus. Okay, now, the fact that I've proven that nobody else can possibly be Jesus but me, one would think would get a little bit of attention, because last I checked, I was the most famous person that ever lived. But that was the case before I was called Jesus, if only you knew. But Barack Obama, let's face it, he's way cooler than me. And he managed to get suppressed by Google. At the same time that I managed to get suppressed by Google. You know what Barack Obama and I have in common? We're strategically smart centrists. Like to unite people instead of dividing them. Any mature person who sticks to divisive talking points should be investigated for treason. Okay? Because we know that basically the method of manufacture of traitors right now being actively undertaken by the Russian GRU and FSB, whatever, okay, the KGB. We know that that is about dividing people. Okay, we know that it's about far right and far left ideology. Therefore, anyone faced with this awakening that these extreme ideologies have been promoted by our enemy who seeks to destroy us and Western civilization as a whole, well, shouldn't we just take an accounting of who those people are, if they're prominent, if they're well-funded, if they're paid to promote? Especially when, you know, people like me aren't even allowed to do so. There was somebody who donated $1,400 fucking dollars to this channel. Okay? Right around that same time. And I had said, if somebody makes a big donation, I'm going to invest it right back into the channel. And then I go and I click where I had clicked before, where it said simply, select a dollar amount that you want to spend. And I'd played with the dollar amount. I'd seen how many clicks I could get for fucking, you know, $20 a day. Okay, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to get, it was like 1,270 something, I think, about clicks. Okay, and I didn't pay unless they clicked, right? For $20. And every day I would spend $20 and it would go up to that number, and then, you know, the next day my new $20 would activate. As soon as I asked for money to do that, as soon as I got the money to do that, YouTube disabled the fucking feature. You know, if I was not Jesus, y'all know how I feel about the name Jesus, right? As a Christian, as a man, as an American, I feel that I am duty bound to defend my country. And I tried to ride through the digital airwaves like Paul Revere, saying, the Russians are coming, the Russians are coming. For years before anyone had a clue that they were coming, I was saying, the fucking Russians are coming. You can bet your ass they are coming. And I never really had a reputation for making false claims. Now, during this little time period, a year and a half before the election, a year before the primary, my channel got just tanked. Barack Google recommendations, notifications got tanked. They intentionally, there is no other way to look at it, they intentionally decided that independent people could not pay money to Google to promote them. They intentionally decided that free speech was not worth profit. What business do they have deciding such a thing? What business do they have even talking about such a thing? Unless they're traitors. Unless there are traitors. Actual anti-American, militaristic, strategic traitors to Western civilization working at Google. It is as if Paul Revere were John Wayne or Chuck Norris, okay? Or John Wayne plus fucking Chuck Norris in my case. And as he was writing, saying, the Russians are coming, the Russians are coming, blocking his path to the people he needed to warn, guess what? There's a fucking beachhead. There's a bridgehead. There's a camp on our soil of invaders. And they're all having drinks with people I thought were Americans. And they're getting ready to attack the town that I'm trying to warn. Now, what is my duty as a combined Chuck Norris, John Wayne motherfucker when I see this camp of traitors and enemies? Oh, I don't know how I did that, but apparently I've popped the chat up. Can I see that again? Show live chat messages. No. Huh. I don't know. Oh, I can do that though. Whoa, I can do that while I'm streaming. That's cool. Huh. Hey look, a fish room. Hey look, an ugly old guy. Anyways. I guess I could be all congenial and shit, and actually turn the camera around. Yeah, I mean, since I took the fucking blanket off, I want to be all shirtless like a single gigolo posting selfies. Oh, okay. Need a table because the camera is fucking charging. And now I set this up here. All right. Another win for the crappy little wire stand thingy. So anyways, whoever's here watching, thanks for watching. Sorry you didn't get to watch an ad before you came onto the stream today. I know, it's horrible for y'all, right? Definitely horrible for me, though. Because as of now, with my wife being unemployed until they figure out what the fuck is wrong with her, and by the way, she's at the doctor right now, getting some kind of a sonographic scan done on the arteries in her neck for that stroke thing, possible. She could have fucking had a stroke. 30 years old. Oh yes, younger woman. Oh. She's like 28 and 5/2 or something like that. But anyways, I believe my disability is around $895 a month that I collect for, you know, my 12 years of working at a grocery store, plus a couple years at different automotive and motorcycle dealerships. I didn't really get to work that long before getting fucking crippled. But continuing to take and lose jobs and build up the amount of money that I put into Social Security after I was hurt, that's what actually made me having or made it to where I had enough work hours or whatever it is put into Social Security to even be able to apply for it. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have wondered if I've ever worked for the military or for the CIA. The answer is no. I have had very similar training, but that is training that is provided within my family, within the Morris family, because so many people within the Morris family wind up in the CIA. I just hawked a loogie right on a gnat. Oh, that was terribly satisfying. So then, you know, also around this time period, a year and a half before the election, a year before the primary, right before Donald Trump announced he was running, as if, with foreknowledge that he would in fact announce, unlike previous years where he pretended he would announce but hadn't. They did all these things to suppress centrists. While the very first contacts between the Trump campaign and Russia were being made. That's the catalyst. February 2015. And again, 3.5 months later, when the first suppression of this channel started. And then by the time it seemed like they really had an arrangement, this channel and channels like it were being fully suppressed. And when people started to complain about it, suddenly Alex Jones is complaining about it too. When people started basically saying, how can you flag my content when people like Alex Jones are basically making $20,000 a month off of YouTube? And the word got out. And Google was hacked by the Russians. And then the adpocalypse happens. And I am not the only one to observe how basically fake Americans, Russian agents on YouTube, were made to seem to suffer to cover the ass of what Google had really done. You see, it's very simple. In order to get my views and have a legal excuse to suppress my views, in order to get my views down from the 300 or so, at least 150 views in a day I would get on any video I posted, to get that down to the 3 to 5 views I get now, they simply proportionally, algorithmically edited the views on Alex Jones's channel as well, on RT's channel as well. In fact, the same way they deleted views from my channel, they deleted views from their channel. The thing is, for them it really makes no difference. For me or anyone like me, anyone who's noticed things that are threatening their country and tried to warn their fellow citizens about, in due honorable representation of famous historical figures like Paul Revere himself. Okay? Not some outlandish, bombastic thing to be doing. Okay? I'm trying to warn my own country in a patriotic way. But YouTube would rather promote Illuminati and Freemason conspiracies. I called them on their bullshit. And the only way they could cover their asses was this adpocalypse. But you know what? I still get fucking RT and Alex Jones and Ron Gibson videos recommended me all the fucking time. And you know, one of the other arguments that I'm sure they've contemplated making before a judge or jury, in my case, is that I talk about whether or not I could beat the living shit out of somebody. You ever heard of Joe Rogan? Hey, go fuck yourself. And you know, I had I had early on titled some videos such and such as bullshit. And even with the number one in there and the hashtag as the H, they would demonetize those videos. And it's because I was the only one pointing out to the flat earth community what country was at the center of the fucking map we were all looking at. It can't be that I, a grown-up person, was using a grown-up word on a grown-up platform. Okay? Can't be that. You want to know why? Enter the fucking dojo. That's why. Most of the names of the titles of their videos are such and such as bullshit. And they're funny. And you know what? Back before I started my period, I was funny too. But I've been menstruating for like a year straight now. And I don't find myself very funny anymore. I don't find any of this shit funny anymore. I mean, well, it depends. See what I did there? That was a menstruating joke. I need an adult diaper because my fucking period has been lasting so long. You know, they should really just replace the STR with the letter H. Did I get that? Comment LOL if you got that one. Men hating. So, anybody want to see how I level up on Final Fantasy? So I'm at the Arcalite step here. see, I can probably zoom it in a little. I gotta move the fucking table a little more. Oh, come on, don't fall, don't fall. Alright. Okay, doesn't want to bend that way. Oh, look at that. I love my new phone. I love it and I hate it at the same time. I hate that I had to get it. But I love that it's, you know, awesome and hack-proof or whatever. So, this little map here shows you this gigantic area called the Arcalite Steppe. And my wife was doing Seath Stone missions, which is what that little orange dot right there is. This is where you come out. You gotta walk all the way to the other side over here to get to where you're trying to go. All the fucking way across the whole damn thing. And there are giant monsters that can kill you in one hit all over that entire plane, right? And then as you come around this little corner pass here, you hit this one last save sphere. And there's, like, you know, when you're first coming through here, there's that Behemoth King right there. That guy will still more than likely kick my ass right now. Okay. And then, and more than likely, there's some places where you're just exploring, where those guys are actually running through and just will attack you without you being able to avoid them. Then you come across this little pair, and they scare the shit out of you. But they're not that hard to fight. You might have to do, I mean, you need to do like enough leveling up to get everybody close to 3,000 HP or just past 3,000 HP for the grown-ups. I just messed up. Just want a couple of hastes, and now we're good. I've been playing with the paradigms in the battle team long enough to where I definitely think I've decided on the best one. I did make a hell of a mistake in the advice I was giving the other day on the Lost Begotten channel, however. When I was upgrading the weapons, I forgot just a little, well, like 300 more organic item points or whatever you call them, and the multiplier would have gone to 3x. I didn't realize that until I got some of the items that this guy drops here, which is usually a chipped fang and a gargantuan claw. Those are worth like 54 and 72 points each. Added a couple of those when I was at 1.75, and then it jumped up to 3x. I'm like, holy shit. Did I really just waste all those resources on 2x shit? Sure did. So anyways, 6,600 CP per battle right there. It is by far the best place to level up until you can defeat some of the super bosses efficiently, like the mini super bosses, I guess you call them, on the Seath Stone missions. So what I got working here is Ruthless, that's Commando, Saboteur, Ravager. That's my starting thing. You get the preemptive strike, and Hope usually starts out with the Protect. That's rather helpful. And then of course Saw's Ravaging gets the stagger started. And then I switch one down. And then she does, if that didn't take, another Deprotect, De-Shell, Curse, Slow, all that good stuff. There very likely might have been some damage at that point from her running up to the front of the battle. So, not a horrible idea to have a medic come out at that point. But the point of these two paradigms is the synergist. Saz is the first person to learn haste, and, well, having twice as many turns to do shit is very helpful. So, switch right to that one, get hasted, switch to the next one, get protected, and then relentless assault. Once the dude's dead, I might come back to the even odds again. Actually, I did last time, yeah, for just a few seconds to get Veil, Vigilance, and maybe in Fire equipped, so that Fang has fire damage added. And you just switch to those, and they do them automatically. That's one of the things that's nice about these battle paradigms here, is that your supporting team members do actually decent support most of the time. Sometimes they can be fucking tedious, or it can be tedious waiting for their ATBs to charge and shit, right? So, in case things go poorly, and I'm not that leveled up, so they still have gone poorly a couple times. If I don't execute things flawlessly, the Behemoth King's stagger will end, and he will start, tearing me asunder. Literally, one of his moves is called Asunder. Or Sunder? Yeah, just Sunder. Which makes me a Sunder. I've been sundered. Alright, Mr. Conway, thanks for hanging out, brother. So when you go into combat clinic, your Sentinel can do Media Guard. Sentinel Medic makes a combat clinic. And then your other two guys can heal themselves and you in a hurry, while you try to heal yourself as you take damage with the Media Guard. Media Guard doesn't reduce damage quite as much as Steel Guard, but it heals you while you do it. So I find that to be very handy. And then, of course, diversity at the bottom, a Commando, a Ravager, and a Medic. And for those of you not familiar with the game, a Commando is a physical attacker for the most part, and a Ravager is a magical attacker for the first part. Commando does have magic, but it's primarily non-elemental, what they call Ruin in this game. There is no Ruin-Ra, there is only a Ruin-Ga. So there's the regular spell, the middle spell, and the giant spell. This one only has a regular spell and a giant spell. And your Ravager can do pretty much every other form of magic but Ruin. But the only person who adds physical damage to their magic attacks, as far as I know, is the ones who do the strikes, like Spark Strike, Flame Strike, and that would be Lightning and Saz. But let's see. I don't have her very far on the Ravager paradigm, but get nowhere right quick. Oh yeah, she's gonna wind up getting the strikes too. There's Flame Strike, Frost Strike, Aqua Strike, and Thundara and Lazara. So I guess she doesn't get Thunder Strike. Thunder, thunder, thunder strike. Oh, sorry, I had to. Spark Strike. Oh, I missed it right there. Hello. All right. Alright, roll level completed as a synergist. So what that does is there's roll bonuses. So like the strength and duration of the spells that they cast gets increased. As a synergist when they reach that roll level. And each time they have a roll level, the bonuses increase. Okay? So like a medic gets augmented healing and like each one of their cures actually cures for more relative to their magic skill. Like so it's like a multiplier effect in the programming. I tell you what, one of the things that made me really have an easy time learning programming was I never did role playing, but I used to watch other people do role playing. And games, especially, but a lot of other intuitive softwares use things that are very much like role-playing dice to make decisions. Like, especially the more advanced Final Fantasy games, they have a luck factor that applies to magic and defensive strength and magic defense and physical defense all differently, and even the status ailments all differently. And that's a virtual dice that gets rolled based on the factor of your luck, and it rolls itself against A, the number of damage taken or inflicted, and then B, the opponent's strength or defense, respectively. And then again, against the opponent's luck. And does all those things before deciding how many hit points to take away from that opponent for each strike or spell. I think it's fun stuff to think about. But anyways, that's gonna be all for the day. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. And I'll catch y'all another time. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to be doing with this channel, but I'm certainly going to be doing more with it. So please, if you don't mind, share the video to your Facebook status. See if you can convince a couple of your friends to watch. Make them aware of what's been going on. And you can tell them. See what made this guy pretend he's Jesus or something. This guy's obviously too competent or something to actually think this, so he must be just pretending in order to not get assassinated by Russia like so many other people have, and you don't even fucking know about it. Make a disclaiming argument and post a link to a video for me. Make a disclaiming argument and post a link to a Lost Begotten video. As many times as you can, please, for me. Make a different argument about your favorite video. All those Lost Begotten videos are going to stay up. Copy the links to your favorite videos now while you still can freely see them, because they're not just going to be browsable on the channel for much longer. They're all going to be relocated to playlists, faceless playlists, pretty much. But anyways, thanks once again for watching. Y'all have a good one. Peace.